Welcome back to the show. Let's take a look at the NFC playoff picture, and the difference between the lower seeds and the higher seeds is minimal. Bears and Packers only separated by a half game. Rams and Seahawks are tied in the West, and the Bucs are only a half game up on the idle Panthers this week. And then you still have teams in the hunt: Lions, Cowboys, and the aforementioned Carolina football team. Let's welcome in Mike Renner and JP Acosta to talk about first place on the line in the NFC North with the Bears, which I don't know about you guys, but everybody on my social media accounts have been, Bears 9-3 in the 1 seed. Man, if I wouldn't know any better, I would have thought that the Bears are already going to the Super Bowl. That being said, Mike, I'll start with you first. Just sort of like a vibe and a hype perspective coming into this game on a scale of like 1 to 10, where does this land for you?
I was actually texting Kyle Long about this earlier. I was like, I don't think I've been this excited for a Bears-Packers matchup since the early 2010s. They just haven't been at the same time really this sort of level of teams. And so the rivalry's kind of been very one-sided. I think we're kind of back on even footing here. And I think this, like I said, this is the most excited I've been for a matchup in a decade plus.
Helps when
this is going to be
there, JP. Sorry, I didn't mean to butt in there. Go ahead. What do you got?
This is going to be one of the biggest matchups I think I've ever seen when it comes to Bears-Packers. Two exciting offenses, two great and really sustainable coaching and play calling on both sides of the ball, and just the intensity knowing that this is not only for the division, but this is for potentially first place in the NFC. And we know how much getting home field advantage matters in a division is loaded or in a conference is loaded as the NFC. So this is going to be a huge game, really intense. I'm excited to watch it.
We've got some good on good. Packers have the fewest giveaways in the NFL at 7. The Bears have the most with 26, as we're taking a look at the remaining schedule for both teams. Again, 2 of the next 3 are against each other. When it comes to the edge coaching-wise, Matt LaFleur, Ben Johnson, Mike, where do you land there? What sticks out to you?
I'm going to give the edge to Ben Johnson. Just what he did in his time in Detroit and what he's done in his limited time in Chicago has been wildly impressive, and specifically what he's done to transform this running game. Really a non-factor all of 24, the Bears running game, with a few additions along the offensive line and a complete overhaul of the scheme. This is the best running game in the NFL this season. Over their last 8 games, they're averaging 179 yards per game, 5.4 yards per carry. That's 28 more yards per game than any other team in the NFL over that span. And they've been the second most efficient team running the football. So it's not only volume, but efficiency. And that's Ben Johnson. That's how he schemes it up. JP talked about it on the Pushing the Pile podcast earlier this week and brought up some plays, but that is the Ben Johnson effect. On the other side, Matt LaFleur really hasn't found anything to get that running game going in Green Bay. So I just got to give the little edge, even though these are both great offensive head coaches.
I definitely agree. I also say Ben Johnson in this scenario. Not only has he changed this Bears run game and changed this offense, he's done it sort of on the fly this season. They started out as a very inside zone, man, power and counter heavy team. And now they're sort of leaning on the strengths of their offensive line and their movement skills. And the fact that DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai are a lot better when you don't have to ask them to read out a lot of blocks, try and get them downhill as fast as possible. So you're designing and getting a lot of plays where you're just asking DeAndre Swift and Monangai to make one guy miss. And the offensive line has played really well. I think that's a testament to Ben Johnson and how well he's schemed up this offense. And the best thing is there's still some meat left on the bone. There's still a lot of ways that this offense can improve. So for right now, I think Ben Johnson, yes, he has the head coaching edge.
All right, what about offense, JP, if I throw it back your way?
I'm actually going to go with the Packers on this one. And like I said with the Bears, there's still some meat left on the bone, and that meat left on the bone is a lot of the passing game. There have been a lot of inaccuracy by Caleb Williams, been a lot of drops by the Bears offense, especially at the receiving core with Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, DJ Moore especially hasn't been able to kind of keep the focus up when it comes to receiving and catching the football. But the Packers offense since week 10 has been third in the NFL in EPA per play. Jordan Love has been incredible throughout this entire stretch. He's been shredding man coverage, kind of been really good and just really grown as a quarterback against the blitz. And once you start to get Jaden Reed back, you're getting a lot of the important guys in this offense back to full health. I think this offense is really going to start to take an uptick.
Yeah, I have to agree with JP. And the key here is just the quarterback position. I think Love is playing on another level right now, the best football of his career. And I actually don't think Caleb Williams is playing that much better than he did as a rookie. I just think the situation's so much better around him. Now, you see obvious areas of growth, but he is still missing a lot of throws. When you go through the tape week in and week out, there is a lot of just pure misses on his tape in a way that Jordan Love is not missing right now. I go to the 3rd and 4th down against the Detroit Lions. Those balls were perfectly placed passes. And as JP said, they still don't even have their full complement of receivers. We'll see if they get Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden back this week. If they do, that offense, #1 in EPA so far this season, is terrifying.
So you guys are bringing up some interesting points, I think, that some football fans may be surprised to hear because, like, no Tucker Kraft. You guys mentioned that they're not even getting the full complement of receivers, but some would say, Mike, that he doesn't have a true #1, which could hurt the Packers down the stretch or when it counts in the postseason. What say you about that?
Yeah, I think it's obviously their biggest concern, and you see it in, 3rd and longs. Where is he going to? It's never the same guy. But when you have 4 guys that can potentially win, which is what they should have when fully healthy, between Christian Watson, Dontavion Wicks, Jaden Reed, and Romeo Doubs and Matthew Golden. So 5 guys. I said 4. It's 5 guys. So I do think this Packers offense, that at least helps them, because then you can find the mismatch. Yeah, you don't have the #1, but then you can't game plan for that #1. And whoever is out there against their #3 corner on the other team, that's who you're going to attack.
If we get to the defense, I think a lot of people would say Green Bay would have the edge. Although Jalen Johnson back, who knows for Chicago there, JP, but what are we thinking in terms of the gap here when it comes to the edge between the defensive units?
Yeah, I don't think this one's really close. I think it's Green Bay by a mile. And even though Jalen Johnson is back, and even though the Packers won't have Devontae Wyatt, his ankle injury is going to keep him out for a long time. I just think there are so many waves to their pass rush, including Micah Parsons, who is playing at a Defensive Player of the Year caliber level lately. But again, they just have so many guys they can throw at you. I think the secondary is playing really well. Evan Williams is having a really good season. I think you're getting a lot of good play from Carrington Valentine at corner. And then Jeff Hafley, defensive coordinator, is really scheming these guys up to sort of force offenses to play a lot quicker than they actually want to play. And especially with Micah Parsons as your pass rusher, you're already going to have to play fast if you're playing the Packers. They speed you up even more than that. So I think the Packers have the edge by a large margin, but I do think getting Jalen Johnson back is going to really help the Bears defense out.
I have to agree with JP, and I love the pod synergy here. And I agree with this point on Jalen Johnson. We really don't know where this defense is going to go with him now back in the lineup, given he is so far and away their best corner, and Ishaun Wright on the other side has been a pick machine. But it comes down to pass rush. The Bears are bottom 3 in the NFL in pressure rate so far this season. The Packers are top 10. If you can't consistently pressure opposing quarterbacks, if they're going to have all day, and Jordan Love, when he's had all day this season, has picked defenses apart, that is just difficult to sustain week in and week out. And you see that in the numbers. They've had one of the easiest slates of offenses of any team in the NFL in terms of schedule, 6th easiest so far this season. And they're still not even a top half of the league in terms of defensive EPA per play against. So they've just played J.J. McCarthy twice. That's the only reason this defense looks anywhere near reasonable. Pretty much every other game has been not so great for them.
Yeah, it's almost like a trade deadline acquisition, how few games Jalen Johnson played, only the one game, I think week 2, and then had to go through surgery and coming back, so it's a nice boost there. Before we get to your guys' selection, who wins this game, it's interesting how Chicago is priced in this game from a spread perspective, even maybe future, results here. Is it simply a power rating thing, Mike, or is there due for regression, point differential? I don't know if you guys are big on point differential, but where is there like public love for Chicago and maybe what the metrics say about the Bears?
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of touched on a bunch of them so far, but then you can go to all the one-score games or final minute games. They already set the record through 10 games, right, of how many times they won by being down in the final 2 minutes. And just any of those go the other way, we're not talking about the 1 seed right now. So they are kind of, I don't want to say a house of cards. It's still a very good football team, but it's a team that's kind of smoke and mirrors their way to the #1 seed at this point. And I think you see that in the line there from Vegas.
I think the Vegas line is sort of instructive of not only the Bears' sort of limitations as a team. Like we said, the defense is still coming along. They don't really have the pass rush. And then again, offensively, they are still lacking a lot of explosiveness or a lot of just efficiency from the passing game. So with those two things in mind, the best thing you can do as an offense is, if you cannot win at the line of scrimmage when it comes to rushing the passer, and then when you can't connect on passes downfield, it's going to put you in a deep hole. So I think this line is correct. I think the Packers just have the edge at too many critical positions.
All right, got less than a minute here then. So do the Packers win, and do they win by 7 or more, Mike Renner, you think?
I think they win. I think they win big. I just don't see the Bears stopping this offense right now, especially with the full complement of weapons coming back.
I think the Packers win. I think the biggest matchup is going to be Micah Parsons against whoever's playing left tackle for the Bears. Theo Benedette has been out with an injury. Ozzie Trapillo's come in, their third-round rookie from Boston College. Has not been that great as a pass protector. If you can't keep Micah Parsons away from Caleb Williams, I think this game is going to get out of hand for Chicago.
All right, great stuff from JP Acosta and Mike Renner, part of the Pushing the Pile podcast. Fellas, thank you very much. Game day recap. Haley Sutton, Rand Carthon, Pete Prisco, who just celebrated his 25th anniversary with CBS, and Damian Harris, Sundays 8:20.